Hello, welcome to my channel where I talk mostly about watercolour painting. So in today's video I'm going to go through these two paintings that I did in my sketchbook, and I'm using a wet and wet technique for these paintings, and I'm very loosely taking inspiration from a trip I did to Scotland. And I think the wet and wet technique is really well suited to the feeling of a landscape rushing by when you're looking at it through a window. And I'm also preparing for a workshop that I'm doing next Tuesday the 13th of May, and that's going to be specifically on creating semi-abstract landscapes using a wet and wet technique. So if you want to join me live, then you can find more details in the description. And if you're interested in doing my courses but you can't join me live, then I also have a pre-recorded course called Minimalist Watercolour Landscapes and Beyond, and I'll also put the details of that in the description. And if you're interested in a live session and the date has passed, you can always check out the link to see if I've got any other live workshops available. Okay, so as you can see in the background, I'm getting on with these paintings, and I have speeded the footage up. But the colours that I'm using are Cobalt Blue, Cerulean Blue, Burnt Sienna, Yellow Ochre and Paynes Grey. And I'm using the yellow ochre and the cerulean blue to make that green at the bottom. But I do want to keep my colours quite subtle. So, for example, I'm just about to put some cobalt blue down at the top to make a mountain-like shape. I later go over that with the burnt sienna, which just makes that blue look a little bit more neutral. And that's what I'm trying to do with these paintings. I'm trying to create quite a sort of subtle feel with the colours. And I'm also really making an effort to try to put down some quite dark paint as well, so that I've got a good variation between the tones. And as I am doing it wet and wet, I'm making an effort to do this as I go along, because I'm trying to do it in one go. So the very basic principle that I'm using for this is I put the lighter colours down first, and then as I go in I put less and less water on my brush, and this obviously makes the colours darker, and it also ensures that you don't get blooms, because if you go in to wet and wet with a really wet brush, then the water will move across the page and you will get a bloom. Now, like I said, I did this painting all in one layer, but there is an option to do a layer and then to wet the paper again and go in with another layer. Now I do that a little bit on the second painting I do, but it is possible to create a whole painting just in one layer, and it's quite a good exercise I think to do, especially if you're using your sketchbook. It really gives you a good feel for the wet and wet technique. So I would, if you're interested in the wet and wet technique and you want to practice, I would encourage you to see what you can do just in one layer. And just a note on the sketchbook, I'm using a Hahnemuhle sketchbook, and it's 100% cotton, and I do think that for the wet and wet technique the 100% cotton paper does work a lot better, because the paint just travels a lot better across the page. But this sketchbook is 200 GSM, not 300 GSM, and you can see it has buckled quite a bit, and the 300 GSM wouldn't buckle quite so much, but once the painting's finished and it sits in your sketchbook for a while, it does sometimes flatten out a little bit. Okay, so this painting's finished now, and I was pretty happy with it. These dark areas in the front are supposed to be the trees, and I did want to create a feeling of a break in the trees, so that's what that sort of break on the left is. But I do feel that the area in the top right is a bit dark, so I'm just going to get some tape and put it on the edge, and then I'll try and lift some of that off with some water. Okay, so that one's done, and I am going to get on to the next one, but you can see between this shot and this one that the paint does dry a bit lighter. Okay, so I'm getting this one ready, and I'm masking off the area, and I'm putting a layer of really clean water down as well. And I've decided for this one that I want to move the horizon line up, because when I was on the train I could see quite a lot of the foreground field, and I want to get a feeling of that going in this one. And you can see that I've put the yellow ochre down at the base, because I'm going to be mixing that in with a tiny bit of the cerulean blue to make that green, but I'll also be mixing the cobalt blue in. And in the centre I use the burnt sienna and the cobalt blue to make this sort of neutral colour, and I also add in Paynes Grey to darken it up towards the end. Okay, so I did actually lay a bit of cobalt blue down in the foreground, and that just takes away from the intensity of the cerulean blue and the yellow ochre. I mean, it's not a very intense colour, but I am trying to keep my colours really quite sort of neutral and subtle. And that brown colour you can see in the middle, that's a result of mixing the cobalt blue and the burnt sienna, and I use that mix quite a lot. You can make it a much browner colour or a much greyer colour depending on the mix. And like I said, I think that's a really nice combination, those two colours. Okay, so I'm going to put the music up for a bit and then I'll jump in again towards the end. Okay, so as you can see, I did lift some of that middle band off because the colour was perhaps a little bit too dark, and I'm sort of evening out the tones by adding a slightly darker area towards the bottom as well. But what I did now is I went in with a really dark paint, and what I did is I added the Paynes grey to the burnt sienna and cobalt blue mix, and I'm bearing in mind that it's going to dry lighter, and I really like that tonal contrast. Now, I did a break in the trees as I did in the first painting, but actually in this one I think the background was possibly a little bit too light. I wanted to give the impression where you get maybe an area of the trees where they've been cut down and there's an area of field or something like that, and I think that I did achieve that, but I think perhaps the contrast is a little bit too much. Okay, so then what I did was I waited for the whole painting to dry, and I very carefully put a layer of water on top of that area to go back in, because I didn't want to do a wet on dry because I didn't want to get a harsh line. So that's what I'm doing. I'm carefully putting some water on that area, and I'm going to go back in with some paint to darken up that light area. Now, I probably could have darkened it up even more, but I was pretty happy with this painting, and it's a sketchbook painting, and I think sometimes with watercolour it's a good idea to stop when you're happy rather than carrying on at the risk of sort of ruining the painting. So this painting is finished as well, and I'm just going to take the tape off, which is always a really satisfying part of the process. Okay, so if you did like the video, then please hit like, and if you'd like to see similar videos in the future, then please subscribe to my channel, and if you've got any questions or comments, then leave them below, because I always get back to everyone, and I really like hearing from people and getting a conversation going about watercolour painting. Okay, so I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you, bye.